Peace. I'm glad you could tune in. My name is Alicia Jefferson. This is Self-Centered Wellness, and I'll be with you for the next 15 minutes or so. I'd like to explore the theme, life isn't passing you by. You are in it, so allow yourself to live it. Life isn't passing you by. You are in it, so allow yourself to live it. So let's get into it. I was at a gathering and I heard one of the women say, as she was sharing a story, she said, life is to live. Life is to live. Don't let it pass you by, life is to live. And she started sharing about an event that she was going to. Folks laugh because she's a senior and she's was talking about how she was preparing to go to a concert, a Maxwell concert, the R&B singer. But what she said, resonated with me or struck a chord within me about life is to live. And, many times we'll hear, life will pass you by, or life's passing me by, or life has passed me by, phrases such as that. I want to encourage you. Life isn't passing you by. You are in it. We are in it. We have to allow ourselves to live it. There may be things you want to do, places you want to go, things you want to accomplish, goals you want to reach, experiences you want to have, and for whatever reason, you haven't yet, and you may be worried, concerned, afraid, regretful that you haven't and may never achieve, do, experience whatever those things are or whatever that thing is you want to experience. And I want to encourage you. Life hasn't passed you by. You are in it. So allow yourself to live it. Oftentimes it's fear that keeps us from doing a thing, trying a thing, experiencing a thing. Fear that might stem from childhood experience or young adult experience, an adult experience, something traumatic, something we went through firsthand, something we observed, things we've heard, messages telling us to beware, be careful, don't, that have messages that have instilled fear in us and prevented us or is preventing us from doing a thing. So fear is a lot of times the thing holding us back. Life hasn't passed you by. Life isn't passing you by. You are in it. Allow yourself to live it. I recently met an elder woman, 85. She was swimming laps. She told me she wanted to go ahead and get her mile in. We talked briefly, then she said, let me get back to it. I want to get my mile in. She went back to swimming her laps. And after she got her miling. We talked again. She shared that she was 85 and that she had been swimming laps since, uh, decades ago. But just 5 years ago, she started swimming in the deep end of the pool and in deeper waters. She said, I'll tell you something that I haven't told anyone. The reason I swim in the deep end and in deeper waters, she said, it was to get over my fear of growing old, of aging. She said, when I was 79 and I had all this fear in me of growing older and getting older, said, I was 79, soon to be 80, and I wanted to get over the fear of growing old. She said, I decided I would dive into the deep end and swim in deeper waters. She said she practiced, got an instructor, practiced, and on her 80th birthday, dove into the deepest end of the pool where she swam and has been swimming in deeper waters since 80, for 5 years now. And of course, some would have said at 79, 80, life has passed her by. You know, that time is come and gone. What are you doing diving in deeper waters? She faced the fear at 79, turning 80. She faced the fear of aging. And she embraces the life she is living. Life isn't passing you by. You are in it. And as this elder did, I encourage you, allow yourself to live it. I had the privilege and honor of meeting her in the pool because at 50, I decided I would face my fear of going underwater and learning to swim. As a child, I was traumatized in the water, tossed in, and it's a sink or swim thing that they were, the message we were getting, sink or swim, and family members were getting tossed in. And I got tossed and freaked out, and ever since, I wouldn't go underwater, and I wouldn't leave the very shallow end when we'd go to the pools in the summer or to the pond. When I had children, I didn't want them to have that fear, so I put them in water early, got them lessons early. They all swim very well, and they all thought I could swim because I would be in the water. But now that they're great swimmers, they have realized, oh wow, mom can't swim like us. So at 50, I decided I would face that fear of going underwater and swimming. Very late in 50, very close to 51. So I've been swimming now close to 6 months or so. I held a floaty for a very long number of months, and I've let that go, and I'm actually playing in the water. Not in the deep end yet, but I'm playing in the water, underwater, spinning and doing different things I never thought I'd do. I really thought it passed me by, the opportunity to learn to swim. But I'm playing in the water, blowing my own mind. Fear is often the thing keeping us from living. We are alive, yes, but when I say living, I mean enjoying an experience we want to have, achieving a goal we want to achieve, doing a thing we want to do. Fear is that wall. Recognize it, face it, and take what I like to call baby steps. If you can't plunge, take baby steps. That's my method a lot of times, most times. Take baby steps. Slowly expand your comfort zone, step by step. And before you know it, you'll be on the other side of fear that's been holding you back from that experience, from achieving that goal. Life isn't passing you by. You are in it. So allow yourself to live it. Sometimes it's fear of being shunned, disapproval, rejection that keeps us from doing a thing, trying a thing. Again, the elder woman I had the privilege of meeting, she shared that in her younger days, she lived in a convent. And after 14 years, made a hard choice to leave that sisterhood community. She felt called to go teach, oversee abroad, go teach abroad. And she did that as a young woman. There was a fear. She thought she'd be rejected, and by some, she was. And she said that was their problem, not mine. She said she encounters it even today still by some who are of that sisterhood and have that mindset. Not all, she said, but some. She said that's their problem, not mine. If you are rejected or shunned or experience disapproval because of a decision you make to achieve a goal or have a particular experience, and you're not harming anyone, that's not your problem. It's theirs. I encourage you, take your baby steps towards that goal, towards that thing. You're not harming yourself or anyone else. Allow yourself to live it. Live that experience. Have that experience. Life isn't passing you by. You're in it. Allow yourself to live it. Some may reject you. Some may think the idea is not a good one. The idea is a bad one. You're not harming yourself or anyone else. Live it. Have your experience. Get on the other side of fear. Sometimes it's the thought that we don't deserve to have the experience. We don't deserve to enjoy our life experience. I think of the painter, George Anthony Morton, young African American painter. His life from very young, was what some would call a street life. The street life. Selling drugs, caught up in dangerous situations, did many years in prison. But even during his time living the street life, he would take a bit of time to draw and paint and try to dabble in art. It wasn't what his home life was about, his family life. It wasn't what the neighborhood was about, but he was moved from within to draw, paint. But at the same time, he had to get out there and sell drugs and be of the life that his family pushed him into. George Morton served his sentence, and while serving his sentence, had more time to devote to his craft, painting, and he did that, and shared his art with whoever would take the time to pay it any attention. And when he got out, he devoted his energy and time to his art. He turned from that street life, that dangerous street life, and focused on his art, which has taken him to many places in the world that he never thought he'd go to, and at many times in his life didn't feel that he deserved it. I think of a cousin of mine who's similar to George Morton, came up running hard in the streets, dealing drugs, involved with gangs, and at many times was considered notorious in the city, and doubted if he deserved to enjoy life, to turn the page, serving years in prison. And just as George did, decided he didn't want that life. He wanted to turn the page. Life isn't passing you by. You are in it, so allow yourself to live it. You deserve to experience what you want to experience. If it's not harming you or harming anyone else, achieve that goal. Have that experience. Go to that place. Do that thing. Life isn't passing you by. When my cousin got out of prison, he'd already decided he wasn't going back to the life he'd lived, dealing drugs, gang banging and such. And he's been living a life of greater joy, greater peace that he'd never known. Rough in the house, rough outside the house, worrying about other gangs and stick-up kids and police and drug deals gone bad, losing friends, loved ones, acquaintances to gun violence. Sometimes there's that survivor's guilt that follows those who make it out, so to speak. He's had to deal with that. George Morton has had to deal with that. And you may be dealing with that, turning the page or contemplating turning the page, and may feel like, what about so and so who's still stuck in it. Whatever it is, it might be street life, it might be a cult, it might be drug addiction, whatever it may be. You deserve to live a life of joy, peace, excitement, beauty. Life isn't passing you by. You are in it. So allow yourself to live it. I like to pause, take a few deep breaths, breathe with me. One more. Face the fear, get on the other side of it, that excitement, blow your own mind. You deserve to achieve, to experience those experiences you want to, and you can. Age doesn't have to prevent you from experiencing that thing. I encourage you to take small steps, baby steps. I encourage you to seek a mentor if necessary, seek an instructor, a teacher. Feed yourself, fuel yourself with encouraging messages to override the message of fear and doubt and worry. Life isn't passing you by. Life isn't passing us by. We are in it. You are in it. So allow yourself to live it. I like to end as I began. Peace. I'm glad you could tune in. My name is Alicia. This is Self-Centered Wellness. Until next time.